I'm going to be showing you how to make slingshot projectiles out of air dry clay. Okay, the 4 things you'll need to make slingshot projectiles are clay. I like air dry clay. It's a lot simpler than other kinds of clay that you might have to fire in a kiln. And you'll also need some wax paper, and you'll also need a cookie sheet, and of course you'll need a giant slingshot to launch it out of. Okay, the first thing you'll want to do is you'll want to lay your wax paper on your cookie sheet so the clay doesn't stick on the table, because it certainly will once you start rolling it up into balls. Okay, the first thing that you'll want to do is you will want to break off a chunk of your clay, and then you can just simply mold it into a ball with your hands. Just roll it out, get it into a rough ball size. With my giant slingshot, I'm making it about half the size of a golf ball. I'm probably gonna make bigger ones, and I might make some smaller ones to see which one works best. But yeah, all you'll want to do is you'll want to get it into a little ball, and then you'll just use your thumb and push like that, and you notice those like little cracks in there. We don't want that. All we're gonna do is we're just gonna take your thumb and you'll just push it over there and just spread it around evenly so it's a nice smooth surface like that. Try to get all the cracks out, and that'll just make it work. That'll make the paint stick a lot better when we paint it. Okay, a side note is, if your clay has too many cracks and you can't mold it how you want it, you can get a little bowl of water and you can put some on your finger and then just rub it around the clay, and that'll really help soften it, and it can fill in those little cracks and gaps, and it'll just help mold it a lot easier than when it is dry. Okay, after you're done molding those balls, then you'll want to take a piece of cloth that you don't care if it gets dirty, and you'll want to dip it in your water just a little bit, and then you'll want to hold it out in your hand like this and set a clay ball in it, and then you just basically just roll it around, and that'll get it all smooth, and put some texture on it for the paint to stick. And then it'll just coat it in water, and that'll really help it. And then you can just go ahead and do that with all of the balls that you made. I personally made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 balls. I will probably make more, but you can do it with however many you made. And if you don't want to do it and you don't want to paint them, that's fine too. Okay, we are back the next day, and the clay balls have been drying all overnight. They're in my room here, and I have all the clay balls set out here. They've just been drying. Right now they're nice and hard, but not so hard that the paint won't stick to them. And fun fact, I also use this same kind of clay for my miniature clay cannons, like the clay cannons in the clay cannon video, link in the description below. But yeah, it's a really good molding clay. It is relatively fragile, but that's okay for what we're doing, because the balls will be a lot stronger than the cannons, because the cannons have a lot of little pieces, and these balls just have one solid piece. It'll be really hard to shatter, I think. However, with my big slingshot, if you've seen the other slingshot videos, you definitely would have seen how powerful it is. So I think there is a very high chance that it will shatter, because the ground's pretty hard. So I think when it hits the ground, it'll definitely explode. Okay, the first thing that you'll want to do is you'll want to get a blank piece of paper from the recycling to just put on the table so you don't get any paint on it. And I'm going to be using these 3 colors, black, red, and yellow. And I'm going to be using two sized paint brushes, a big one to put the paint on the balls, and then a little one if you're like me and you want to paint little details on the projectiles, then you'll want a little brush to make little lines and dots and squiggles and whatever you're wanting to do. One more thing that you have to do before you paint your projectiles is you want to make sure the paint is very thin, because if it's not, it'll take a really long time to dry and it will be uneven and it will be a lot harder to paint your detail marks. Okay, now that my projectiles are all the way dry, I've just done the black paint, as you can see. So now I have the red and yellow that I can do next. So what I'll want to do is I'll do the yellow next, and I'll just set it here. And as you can see, I have my little paintbrush for details that has not been touched yet. So I'm gonna open up this paint like this, and then I'm going to just pour it right there. We won't need a ton, but just enough for you to, I'm making 7 projectiles, but if you make 20 or if you make less than 7, that's okay too. You just get as much as you think you might need. And we'll do the same for red too. If you're like me and you have a lot of extra paint, that's okay. But we have all of our projectiles done. As you can see here, I just put like little splotches and swirls on them. And I just like, afterwards, I just like making little marks and painting my paper or whatever, but you can really do whatever you want with your extra paint. And as you can see, this paint here is orange. I mixed my yellow and my red together at the end. Like you can see, there's some red in there and there's some yellow, and then also like over here, there's some orange. So you can just be creative and have fun with it. But yeah, so for the most part, they're done. Now we're gonna let them dry, and then after that, we're gonna go fire them out of Mr. Slingy. Yep, it's as boring as watching paint dry. Another thing you'll want to do while they're drying is every once in a while, you'll want to take them, roll them over to the opposite side, so the other side that was on the paper can dry. And you might notice like this one has a splotch of white, and that was from the paper. It kind of ripped right there, as you can see, and now it's stuck to that. So that's what you'll want to do. You'll want to flip it over, and you can just do that for every one of them. It's okay if it has that paper, like it just looks like a white splotch along with all the yellow and red and orange ones. But yeah, you'll just want to flip all these little projectiles over to their opposite sides so they can dry evenly. If in places your paint is too thick, you can take a little cloth and rub around the ball. You want to be careful not to smear the markings, but if you just squeeze it, it hopefully won't smear, and that'll help just absorb some of the extra paint is on there, and it'll just make it dry a whole lot faster. So this projectile is done, and now we can just do it with my 6 other ones. Okay, now that our projectiles are dry, the paper that we used to paint them can just go in the recycling. We don't need it anymore. And this rag, if it has wet paint on it, you can also put that in the wash. And your paints, we won't need those. So those can go back wherever your paint box is. And yeah, now we can bring them out to Mr. Slingy, the giant slingshot, and shoot them off. Now that I've picked up my paper and my paints, we're ready to move the projectiles out to Mr. Slingy. What I like to do is I like to take one of my socks and I like to hold it open and carefully place the projectiles in there. You can also grab like right down here so they don't go all the way, and then just shake them in there so then they'll be protected. And then the next one, and you'll want to kind of hold it down here so they don't drop in all the way and hit the other one, and then let it down, and just keep doing that until they're all full. If you have a whole like 20 of them or a whole bunch of them, you might need a bigger sock. I only have 7, so I don't need that big of a sock. Okay, now we are making our way out to the slingshot. Here he is. I was shooting into that water over there, so right now he's in that position, but we can turn him to shoot out there into the field. Okay, so I've never done this before, and I'm not sure if the projectiles will just explode when they hit the ground, so we're just gonna try it out. There's definitely a chance that they will all explode, but the ground is soft enough. I think it might just squish when they hit the ground, and they might not explode, but they might like crack or chip off bits. Okay, I've got my sock here, and I'm just gonna reach in. It's kind of weird, and I'm gonna grab out one of the clay projectiles. This one will be our first projectile we will shoot. I'm just gonna set the sock down on the ground. We've got to make sure we don't step on it, because that would be all our hard work wasted. Okay, I'm gonna fire my first shot in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Holy cow. Oh, I don't think it exploded. Yes. Okay, let's go find it. Okay, I'm coming up on it. Whew. It's a ways of a run out here. I'm not sure if it exploded or not, but we'll see. Landed somewhere around here. Hope we can find it. I don't know. Oh man, this is gonna be an impossible find. Okay, a fatal error. I totally forgot to make more yellow on it, and I definitely should have done that because I didn't think about it. But as you can see here, there are a lot of leaves on the ground, and that would have been really hard to find, so unfortunately that first projectile is gone. However, that's why I have 6 more. So next few I'm gonna shoot along the road, because there's kind of a road out there and it doesn't have so many leaves. So I'm gonna turn the slingshot and I'm gonna shoot it out there, so hopefully I'll be able to find it a lot easier. Okay, I've moved Mr. Slingy, and now it's aimed towards those trees back there. Okay, I'm firing the second shot now. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Holy cow, yeah. Oh man. Oh, I think I see it. Yeah, I think I see it. It's by an orange cone out there, so I can easily locate it. At first I just heard a thump, and then I didn't see it, but I think I know where it is, so hopefully I'll be able to find this one. Okay, I have good news and I have bad news. The bad news is I lost another projectile, and the good news is I sprouted another head. This is my chicken Cinnamon. She's in my shirt. There are her feet down there. But say hello, Cinnamon. Cinnamon, you can talk, but you're not talking. Oh, come on, Minnow. Say something. Alright, well, she doesn't want to talk, obviously. So, yeah. But this is my other head. This is Cinnamon. Okay, this one I am determined not to lose. I'm gonna shoot it really high up in the air, so then I might not lose it as easily. So let's see if that idea works. All right, here we go. Okay, I'm pulling it back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna lose this one. Boom, yes. Yep, I see it. I see it, folks. Oh yeah. It's right over here. Let's go. Okay, I have great news. First, I found the projectile, and second, it made a crater as big as it is. And I only shot it like maybe 80 or 100 feet up, but I couldn't imagine
what it would be 80 feet up and 200 feet long. So I only shot it like maybe 30 feet in distance, but pretty high, and it made a pretty big crater. So I think it would have been awesome if we could have found it, but unfortunately we didn't find the other ones. So I think I'm just gonna do what I just did with shooting this one up, and I'm gonna do that again. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, and share.